Hello, this is Group 19. We have made the term paper in the field of artificial intelligence in computer vision on the topic of object detection using YOLO. Myself Anurag Mohanty and these are my teammates Anesha, Kasif, George and Prince. At present time, real-time object detection has become a common and necessary for fast interference by maintaining a base level of accuracy. Previous approaches of object detection has solved challenges of data limitation, but detecting objects in real time with faster speed and accuracy has become a matter of concern in the present time. To vanquish the above issue, object detection and classification using YOLO are introduced. YOLO has a flavor approach of object detection in real time by exploiting the advantage of CNN, convolutional neural network, by improving computation speed and processing time. Computer vision is a field of artificial intelligence that trains computers and systems to derive meaningful information from digital images, videos, and other visual inputs to interpret and understand the visual world. With the advancement of computer vision, the task of recognizing and detecting objects, which was considered extremely backbreaking a few decades ago, is now achievable. Deep learning has become the most debated topic due to its results in wide-ranging applications, including object detection, classification, language processing, and many other fields. This paper provides an overview of YOLO and how it is to be used for object detection and classification. It can be restrained how automobile industries, medical fields, robotics are intermingled with one another and make substantial use of deep learning. Object detection has become a crucial topic in the area of research in recent past years. For example, self-driving vehicles or analysis of several images uploaded to the internet every day would never be possible without object detection. Machines not only identify but also locate objects, then respond what they were seeing using learning models. One of the most important techniques of computer vision is object detection that allows one to identify and locate objects in a video or image. That's all from my side. Now I request Kasif to speak.
We all are aware of different techniques such as image recognition, image segmentation, and object detection. Image recognition provides name of object irrespective of number of objects present in an image, and image segmentation finds information about shape of object. Thus, it creates unnecessary manipulations. While at the same time, object detection is a computer vision technique that allows us to identify and locate objects in an image or video. That is the important task. As you can see, apples and jellyfishes in these images. Object detection uses machine learning and deep learning algorithms. Machine learning employs computer vision techniques and deep learning employs convolutional neural network. Input provided to object detection is the data in terms of images or videos, and output is images with bounding boxes covering objects of interest. There are many object detection techniques available, such as YOLO, SSD, sliding window, RCNN, and many more. It has been found that YOLO is faster and outperform other object detection techniques in terms of its performance parameters. So, according to Microsoft Cocoa test, YOLO version 4 has 43.5% average precision and run speed of 65 fps. That means in 1 second it can analyze 65 frames, which is quite awesome, isn't it? You can see in image that YOLO V4 has ability to detect objects situated densely. It needs single forward propagation through a neural network for computing all of its calculations. Simple structure make YOLO faster, and YOLO is 2.2 times faster than SSD algorithm, and again faster than RCNN2, as YOLO algorithm is trained to do classification and bounding box regression at the same time. Hence, real-time object detection is possible with YOLO object detection technique.
Hello, I am Anisha and I will continue for the next portion and would like to give a brief breakdown of some important concepts related to the working of YOLO. Before diving into the YOLO algorithm, let's look at the difference between classification, localization, and detection. Classification is simply leveling of images. Localization is similar to classification except the bounding box is added in this. And lastly, object detection is used to detect multiple objects in a single image. Topmost right picture in the slide clearly depicts how these three things are different from one another. As we have looked into these things, now let's dive into another important concept called grid cell. For any object detection to occur, the image needs to be divided into various grids of dimension. Say for example, here, second picture of the slide shows that the image is divided into 3 cross 3 grid cells. So, each grid cells are responsible for detecting objects that appear within them, and each cell is responsible for predicting one object. Likewise, if the center of any object appears within the particular grid cell, then that cell itself holds the responsibility for detecting that object. As we got a hang of this now, let's now quickly define what a bounding box is and why is this necessary. So to define a bounding box, it's an imaginary rectangle represented mostly by its coordinate for describing spatial location of an object and responsible for object detection, and is defined by these following attributes, namely width, height, class, and object center. Now coming back to the answer, why is this necessary? And to get to learn the same in further detail, let's move on to the next slide. So, YOLO predicts the bounding boxes and the corresponding class probabilities for objects available in the grid cell. If, for example, the image is divided into a grid of size m cross n, and for example, there are a total of 3 classes, then for each grid cell, level y will be an 8-dimensional vector as depicted in the slide. If there's an object in this grid, like here, we have a car associated within the grid cell. Hence here, PC value will be equal to 1, and width, height, bounding box center can be calculated relative to the particular grid cell. Here, PC denotes if there's an object present in the grid cell or not. So mainly it denotes probability of an object present in the box. Similarly, if there's no object in this grid, PC will be equal to 0, and the same is predicted in the slide. Anyway, that's all from my side. I will request Prince to continue for the rest portion.
Myself Prince Kumar, and I'm going to present the rest part of working of YOLO. So intersection over union. Intersection over union is one of the evaluating factor which determines how well our object is being predicted. So in this image we can see that there is 2 bounding boxes. One is orange one and another one is yellow one. Orange one is ground truth, which is correct bounding box that given for training, and the yellow one is being predicted by neural network. We define IO equals to overlap upon union. Overlap is the area of intersection part and union is the area of union part. Mostly we will choose bounding box whose IO value is greater than or equals to 0.5. Although we can change this value to 0.6 or 0.7, it means higher value of IOU indicate object fits more proper into the box. Now in this image we talk about only one predicted bounding box, but there could be the multiple predicted bounding box. So in this below image we can see that there is a 3 predicted bounding box. So we use non-mux separation for this case. So in this non-mux separation, for every bounding box we calculate PC value and IOU value for every bounding box. So and then we choose those bounding box whose PC value is maximum and neglect all other bounding boxes. So because of the redundancy, because if we select one or more than one bounding boxes, then there could be the redundancy because all the predicted bounding box is representing the same object in this case. That's why we are using only one bounding box whose PC value is maximum and neglecting all others. Now we can see that if multiple objects in the same image, then what will we do? We will use anchor boxes for this case. In this case, we define anchor boxes for every object in the image. So anchor box 1 is defined for person, anchor box 2 is defined for the car. So we define the output for every anchor boxes. So in this way, we can see that PC, BX, BY, BH, BW, C1, C2, C3 is defined for anchor box 1, and for anchor box 2, we define the remaining thing. C1, C2, C3 is the classification in the training data set. C1 is for car, C2 is for bike, and C3 is for person. So it means for anchor box 1, C3 value is 1, C3 value is 1 for first anchor box 1, and for anchor box 2, C1 value is 1 and C2, C3 value is 0. So output shape is given as S into S. S into S is number of grid cells. In this case, 3 into 3, but essentially we use 19 into 19 in our algorithm. 5 is total number of parameters, that is BX, BY, BH, BW, and PC. And C is the number of classifications C1, C2, C3 into number of anchor boxes, which we use 2 in this case, anchor box 1 and anchor box 2. There is some problem with anchor boxes. If we have 2 anchor boxes but grid cell contain 3 objects, in this case it doesn't work properly. And also 2 objects with same anchor box and also same grid cell center, in this case also it doesn't work properly. Now George will conclude and finish the remaining part.
Applications of YOLO. There are numerous fields where YOLO is interacting with the physical world. In the field of autonomous driving, it can detect vehicles, people, traffic signals, cats, dogs, objects, and any external hazard appearing on the road. Thus, it avoids accidents on the road. In the field of wildlife, it can detect animals, plants, and trees, and it will eventually help wildlife journalists and rangers to view the migration and growth of these species. In robotics, service robots? Yeah, service robots are getting popular these days. In catering industry, robotic arm can recognize dishes, plates, tables, and these robots can serve the customers hygienically. In retail sector too, where the customer query the product set with their own images of coffee, table, some kind of pots, etc., YOLO algorithm will return list of visually similar products, and it will classify them as home durables. In farming, any part of leaves is inspected in plant, then the YOLO will immediately know the occurrence of diseases and pesticides, and these pesticides can be applied in that affected area. YOLO is not confined to these areas, but it has reached our home and offices. If anyone passes or enters the restricted area, it will detect the person and a security person can take necessary action. Now, conclusion. I will conclude with these points. YOLO is one of the robust and powerful tools in object detection. In previous versions of YOLO, spatial constraint limits the accuracy in case of nearby and smaller objects. But in YOLO 4, it has been rectified. YOLO is futuristic regionizer, which has faster FPS and more accuracy. The detector can be trained and can be used on conventional GPUs. Now, at last, don't forget, you only live once.